Alrighty folks, so went ahead and been working on this Edsel here all day, and as you can see, we got the tail end of the car sitting back down on the ground, and they go through and put the little clip on the brake hose, so now it won't be flopping all over the place anymore. And it's just this little clip, same clip that's on the front here, that little clip right there. It goes on your brake line. I had to get one of them and put on the hose. And the issue I had is it's actually a GM style hose I'm using on the back of this car here, because I had a bunch of issues with it. You know, you had to get an adapter and all this crazy stuff. And long story short, I just got a regular brake hose for a GM vehicle. I think it's, I can't remember exactly what it's for, but I mean, it doesn't have to be a GM vehicle, but all it boils down to is it's set up for the 3/16 brake lines from the passenger side to the driver's side, and then you have a 3/16 brake line that goes from the front to the rear, and that's what I wanted. And I got a hose that was specifically designed with that T built in, truly built in, and that's what I got. And so I had to put that little clip on there, and went through the rear end and checked to make sure. I say I went through it, but I just verified everything is, you know, going to be okay on it for now. And I checked the breather tube. The breather tube is good, so I want to make sure that, you know, it wasn't clogged for dirt and grease and grime and everything else. It's clear, so that turns out good. I did check the gear oil in the rear end, and honestly, this is absolutely horrible to say, and I feel absolutely ashamed of this, but that's the first time I've ever checked the gear oil in this car ever since I've had it. And I've, you know, only put a couple hundred miles on this car since I've had it. I've had this car since 2018, and it's not going anywhere. This is my baby, and I love this car, and she's home, and she's gonna stay home. She's not going nowhere. So, and one day it's gonna be pretty cool here. On a different subject real quick, it's gonna be pretty cool to have an Edsel sitting here that we already have, and then have our Biscayne sitting here. I know my buddy After 5 Auto, he knows where I'm going with this. And then guess what, I don't even have to say it, right? We already know what that car's going to be. Drop a comment below, you know what it's going to be. We're at the 2 and 52 minute time marker, 2:52. So yep, you know what the other car is. So I always wanted to get all three lined up and get a good picture of all three cars and frame it, and that's what I want to do eventually. But to get back on this, is the breather tube on the rear end is clean, so everything's good to go there. And like I said, I was a little ashamed because that's the first time I've ever checked the gear oil in this car, and that's not cool because that's a good way to fry the rear end and mess it up. And we do have a leaking, if you look back in the videos, we do have a leaking blown out seal. Well, I don't want to say blown out yet, but it's definitely leaking pretty bad too on the driver's side. So I got to address that issue. And you know, it ruins all the brake shoes and everything else. But I topped it back off, and we're just going to take it up down the road a couple times, and sadly it will have to be parked again until the rear end is rebuilt correctly. And I'm gonna go through it, you know, one end to the other on this rear end, and check everything very thoroughly. And as long as everything looks good, we'll put new bearings in it, new axle seals in it, and I will check the bearings on our center. That is a 4/9 inch, and it's got two 4/9 inches. I got the one in this car, and then I have the 9 inch that's in my 78. And I'm gonna just check it, make sure, you know, all the bearings and everything are good on the actual center itself. And I'm more likely I'll probably end up replacing them anyway, but I don't want to do that and then have to sit there and, you know, redo the whole rear end. So I don't know, but for now I am going to do the axle bearings and the wheel seals, because we're not going to drive the car like that. You know, just take it up and down the road, that's fine, but you don't want to drive it like that because all that gear oil gets all over the brake shoes and you got a bad situation. So not cool. and the car still will be, you know, sadly deemed unsafe until that's corrected. So, you know, I got a lot of common sense on these cars, and you know, when I say taking it up down the road, literally it's like not even half a mile, just to check it out, get the car up to temperature, and just, you know, take it back and forth a few times, make sure it's going to shift good and all that good stuff. And then sadly, like I said, we'll park again, go through the rear end. But repeat myself over and over and over again, we get a lot of comments on that, and I know sometimes I talk way too much, but to get what we're doing on this here, this has been a nightmare from hell. It really has. But you know, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I ended up buying a drag link from a I actually bought the whole steering column shaft all the way down to the steering box. This is a manual steering box, the drag link, the tie rods, everything. I ended up buying it from a fella on eBay. Shoot, that was probably back in, Lord, I don't even remember now, probably October, something like that. And ended up getting all that. And the reason I had to do that is I tried the 63 drag link on this car for a 63 Galaxy, and it did not work. It did not work. It was way too many issues with it, and it almost would have worked, but I think, you know, the either-or situation was the whole thing. Everything worked, but trying to get the either-arm, you know, you almost have to have one custom made to make it work. So it will work, but the issue is the either-arm, the actual arm down there. Them you got to watch out for. They do curve different, and they are different from the power assist cars to the manual steering cars. So it was a real nightmare with that. It really was. So, you know, got it all straightened out and got the manual one, and you know, it's nothing you can do about it, really. I mean, unless you have one custom made. I was trying to get rid of this issue because I don't like that drag link there. It's a very, very poor design, and very, very, very unsafe. Very unsafe. And it wasn't just, I'm not blaming because it's an Edsel, it has nothing to do with that. You know, Ford did this for years and years and years. And they actually corrected the issue in the very early 60s, about probably 3 to 4. Well, I know it was 63. They corrected that, and they got rid of this adapter in. And this one is actually somewhat better. We'll put that in quotations there. Can't really see me doing that with my finger, but we'll say it's better because that piece actually is made all as one piece to the drag link. That part is better, but it still has the little pivot ball like a ball joint, and it's got a little spring in there and all that holds all that together, and it's a little cotter key at the end. And it's still, in my personal opinion, complete junk and very unsafe. But I tell you what, you know, everything is bolted up and everything is lining up, and it's the same steering box. All these cars have the same steering box, and you know, unless somebody's done changed it out to the newer style that has the power steering, all the lines and everything, they actually go into the steering box itself. But all these steering boxes on these cars were all manual, regardless whether it had power or not. You know, they were all power assist. It had the RAM and everything that was underneath here, and it's just a complete nightmare. It really is. And I'm not restoring this car yet. This car, like I always said, will be the only vehicle that I will actually spend time on to do a frame off restoration on. This car is the only one I have that's actually truly worth it because of what it is. And plus it's a 2-door hardtop. You know, that's, you know, if I'm going to spend all the time and my hard-earned money and everything, this is the one I'm going to do. You know, this is one of a kind. You don't see these cars. And they're right there at a number, I would say, I would give this car a 7 as being rare. Because 10, as we know, would be, y'all know what I've been working on the other series of videos. Give you a hint there. The year is 57. Y'all know the rest. But You know, that car is number 10 on the list, but this I'd give it about a 7, maybe 7.5 for being rare. Because they're rare, but they're way more plentiful than what the Plymouth is. Oh, whoops, I said it. Yeah, y'all need that anyway. I'm just messing around. But, yeah, we had to go in here, and I say we, I mean me, myself, and I had to go in here, and I bought this drag length, and, you know, like everything else, you know, inflation and everything else, people want an arm and a leg for this stuff, and it's just ridiculous, but I'm not going to complain about it. You know, I was able to get it. It's extremely hard to find, and it is a Ford. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Look at that. Sorry about that. Camera work really is terrible. But we got it, and we got it on. And, you know, these tie rods are complete garbage. And, you know, I'm not trying to sound all negative here, but, you know, I can live with that. I don't like it. But, you know, it's a whole lot better than having a bunch of issues trying to use the other drag link. I was trying to use a one-piece drag link because, to me, it's a whole lot safer. You don't have the adapter, and, you know, you ain't got to worry about going down the road and something bad happen. And, because I've had stories about them where they'll be so wore out that that drag link will actually pop off that pitman arm there on the steering box, and, you know, something bad happened. That's why I was trying to upgrade to the one-piece design. My Biscayne, I actually upgraded to that. It's a one-piece design. Does not have that, you know, junk end on it like that. But these tie rods, I don't want to keep dragging out too much. I know my videos get long and ramble, blah, 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 blah. But all this stuff is brand new except for the drag link, obviously. But these tie rods are complete garbage. They really are. And it goes to show how quality is made today. You know, quality. But if we look, let's turn the light on. There is absolutely no provision on either one of them for a cotter key. None. Now you can't tell me these people that make these things can't take the time to drill a hole in it to put a cotter key in it. To me, that just made this car, it was already unsafe because over there, that junk drag link in there, they really made it unsafe. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to drill them out. I don't care what it takes, and I'm going to put a cotter key in them. I'm not driving this car like that. That to me is completely unsafe. Very unsafe. Yeah, they are a nylon lock nut. But, you know, that's just, why risk it? Why risk it? So I'm going to go in there, and I got two choices. I'm going to drill them out and put a cotter key in it, which is going to be hard to drill them. Well, not really, because I got the Castle nuts, the regular ones that I can go in there and just drill a hole in it. Or the other choice I have is to go find NOS ones, which is what I'm leaning towards, because I'm not dealing with just really poor quality like it. And I'm trying to be respectful here. I'm trying to watch my mouth a little bit. You know, I don't like, you know, swearing in my videos. Do get a little carried away with it. Don't mean nothing bad about it, but, you know, I'm trying to be respectful here because, you know, I'm trying to make this channel grow and be positive. So, but I mean, that's just ridiculous. You can't tell me that's safe. That's safe. That's safe. That's just, oh Lord. But, you know, whatever, we got it. And there is the other arm. I'm going to have to put new bushings in it, of course. But that idler arm right there, that bracket in that arm, people are nuts. They are crazy. Yes, I know it's not bolted up. I got to go to the parts place and find a longer bolt. And on the correct nut, I need a 3/8/16 bolt that's approximately probably, I don't know, 3.5 inches long, something like that. And we do have the bolt holes and everything because the bracket for the idler arm for the power assist is different. It actually bolts up underneath the frame. It uses 2 bolts under the frame right there, and then it uses 1 right there. And the manual one actually uses the one that's in front of the screen, the center of the screen. And then it actually uses the top one right there in the center of the screen. So that's what that takes to bolt that up. So one bolt short and one nut short and a couple washers, but that's not a big deal. But I like this so much better, and you cannot use the power assist arm or the bracket or any of that because you're going to have a pile of issues, because the end of the drag link on the 63 drag link will hit the bottom of the eye of the arm bracket because it hangs down from the frame here. When you turn the wheels, it will hit it, and that's not good, and that's not going to work. And you can't just take this bracket off like I thought originally in that eye of the arm and, you know, bolt it up to the 63, because guess what? You gotta love Ford, because it won't work. Now, I'm sure you can go in there and machine something to make it work, but then you gotta worry about, you know, throwing all the geometry off when you're trying to steer your car down the road, you know. So I'm just not gonna deal with all that. I'm not, and just gonna fix it the right way and be done with it. So we will have probably 1 or 2 more videos of this. I don't want to make, you know, a pile of videos on all this and then kind of going over the same thing over and over and over and over again. And because, you know, you're not really learning nothing from that. You know, just to show the same video but in a different form, you know, every time. But trying to, you know, make a real good video on it. So I know these videos definitely ain't perfect, but I don't like making the same video. It's like making the same video on the Edsel here about drum brakes like every 6 months, you know. It gets old. So, you know. But that's what I've been doing, and I am going to revise those videos a little bit. I got another series I got to revise too. And that's my 2 projects for YouTube wise. So I want to revise the Turbo 350 videos, and I want to do a little bit of revising on the steering and rebuilding the front suspension on this car. So, you know, this is, you know, this is the correct way to do it. This is the only way you really can do it, honestly. And, you know, that's the way I should have did it in the beginning. But the whole thing is I'm trying to make this car, you know, just little things like that, make it safer. Why not? It's too rare of a car to risk something bad happening, and then in the real world is it going to happen? Probably not. But you never know. Just them little things help. You know, I don't mind upgrading a few things. But I got a set of valve covers we're going to put on here. They do have the PCV valve, and both of them do. And I'm going to go in there and probably just weld one up and close it up so we can have the original style valve cover on one side, because I already got the oil fill tube right there. We don't need, you know, a breather there and then PCV valve there and a breather there. You have 2 breathers. I mean, it just looks goofy looking. So I'm going to go in there. I don't understand why people put a muffler on it, dude. I just don't understand that. Grief. I just don't understand. I don't know. I just don't understand that. But yeah, I'm not gonna have, you know, 2 breathers on here. It's just gonna look goofy looking. So one of them I'm gonna weld up the hole for the PCV valve, because we got a breather right there on the intake, and the other valve cover I'm gonna put a PCV valve in it and upgrade this so it'll have the PCV valve and do away with this road draft tube. And the reason is because I ain't got nothing against it. I like it because it looks original, but you know, it's wanting to, something's not right with it, because it's wanting to pop out. And look at that. And I don't want to wiggle too much because it'll come off. But either we're missing a long bolt that goes in the back of it, or something that's not right, or either it's a press fit or something's going on. But either way, you know, I know that's not the answer to everything. Well, just, you know, take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off. That's not the answer to everything. It's not. You know, and that's not what I'm saying to do. It's just, I'm going to pull it off because we're going to upgrade this motor a little bit anyway, and I just want the PCV valve. And like I always do, everything I upgrade, like the alternator there, and the radiator was actually already in it. And I want to paint that radiator black so it blends in better. I'm gonna actually end up replacing it eventually. Them old junk Champion radiators there, you know, I ain't had much good luck with them. I like the KKS aluminum radiators. That's what I have in my Chevelle, and they're awesome. And very nice TIG welds and higher quality. But you know, it's not the answer to everything. Is sit there and take everything off, you know. But I just want to upgrade a few things on this thing, and I have. Went to a dual master cylinder. The brakes are completely done. They've been bled, if you're wondering, and I've checked everything, make sure none of the lines are going to rub. So, you know, they're not perfect, but I think they turned out pretty good. I got a couple holes. I'm missing one bolt back there I gotta go get, and they drilled one on top of it there. I think I showed this before, but you know, it's just little things like that. I gotta go in there and weld them up and throw a bolt in there, and just goofy stuff like that. But it could be fixed. And I do have to upgrade to the electric wipers. I'm going to do that. And we will be putting a heater core in this car. I did bypass it for now. You know, I just don't have a choice on that. I mean, it's leaking internally, and it's not running out on the floor, which is weird, but it's steaming up the windows. So I don't know, something's not right with it. I know that. You know, it's lived its life. I mean, it's almost 70 years old, so, you know. But it might be able to go in there and, you know, you could braise it if you want it, but it's not worth it. So I'm going to get one of them. And I believe I think they make them for these cars. They should be the same heater core as a regular 59 Ford. So I'll have to look into that. And that is 69 Mustang Master Cylinder. And, you know, it's not perfect, but I got to go through here, and once I get this front suspension wrapped up, we're going to sit this thing on the ground and do a little bit of wiring on here. And I got a battery tray, a nicer one for it, a nice original Edsel, the correct battery tray I'm going to put in here. The one that was in here was the original one, but it was just gone. A little bit of rot down in there. I actually got to buy a starter solenoid for it. That one is junk. And the starter solenoids, I've seen a YouTube video about that. Them things are definitely, they just don't last. They don't. The quality today is just absolutely terrible. It's just garbage. It really is. But we did put a mechanical fuel pump on here not that long ago. And I did replace the oil pressure sensor too. So, but I'm gonna look into doing something about this cap and these plug wires. They've been chewed up a little bit, but not really. Well, I got to replace it because of that, obviously, but I'm going to see if I can find a different color cap and plug wires and let it so it kind of blends in a little bit. But, all right, blabbing and talk too much here, and I got to get some stuff done, folks, so I'm going to go get what I need. Get a couple bolts here so we can bolt this out of there and bracket up so we can take this car, sit on the ground, and that way we can at least be able to you know, do a little bit of wiring on this thing, at least be able to take it up down the road. And I am going to have to adjust the brakes because this side, definitely, watch this. Yeah, they definitely need to adjust it. So, and this car does not have self-adjusting brakes, and like Uncle Tody's garage there, you know, them things, you adjust them, and then sometimes if everything is perfect in the perfect world, they actually adjust like they're supposed to. And then, you know, a lot of times, you know, they just don't do nothing, and you got to adjust them anyway, just like regular brakes like these that you have to adjust anyway. So I think the best method on drum brakes is just check them and adjust them anyway, regardless if they're self-adjusting or not. So, yep, that's what we got. So, I'm blabbing a little bit, and we'll end the video here. Thanks for watching, and we'll have some more coming up. Thank you.